Hey, hi, this is Manjuna Chandraya. Today's session will be learning how to find the negative numbers as well as the positive numbers. We have a scenario here where we have the trail balance TB with all the accounts here, and we have a multiple entities here from B column B to column to P. So here I have taken the small data and we have a limited of around 17 GL accounts. Some company has more than 100 to 200 GL accounts. Okay, and they may be handling around more than 200 to 300 plants or entities. So if you have that case, we need to find whether there's any movement for that entity in a particular quarter or a month or in a year. See here you can see in column C there is no movement in this entity only, so I don't need to work on this entity. But if it is only if these entities are one or two, or the data is very less, we can go manually check each and everything and we can find which are the entities just empty, which is there is no movement, we can ignore that. Say if you have more than 200 to 300 column of entities, I have only 10 or 15, maybe 200, then how are you going to do? You need to check each column and see whether there is any movement, right? In total it obviously all netting to zero, right? All debit and the all the asset minus liability will netting to zero only. So you will not get the accounts. We need to get the entities which has the movements. To how to find that? So for that, what we can do, we can use a SUMIF function and we can find the accounts entities which has the movements. Let's start. So let me add it as credit balance here. I'll put it as entity, which entity we are trying to do. Okay, and debit balance, that is nothing but the positive values. Okay, so that you can start using the if function. If open bracket, use this insert function. Okay, when you click on it, it asks for a range. So first range is nothing but the column B2 to B17. So I have selected this criteria. So we are trying to check get the credit balance. Credit is nothing but the negative values. So anything less than zero, right? Anything less than zero will be all negative values. So I'm going to select that, and what you are trying to sum range, we are going to sum the values here again, same values. So I'm selecting the range. I'm not going to log these cells since we need this formula for the rest of the columns. I'll keep it. So already you can see this value is picked here. Click OK. You got your values. This 444, 4,45,000. So let me get the debit balance. Use the SUMIF function again. Insert function, range, same range. Okay. Criteria here, since we need the positive values, that is greater than 0. Greater than 0 values, we need to get the total it. Sum range is nothing but we want to sum the same column, right? So obviously it will be the same value but in a positive value. So here you can put it as difference. If you find any difference here, in case there is a difference in the trial balance, I don't think it will be, just to cross check it. Okay, so entity, I'll just do a equals, get this one down here. Okay, so now you got what I'll go, just copy this formula. Since this formula I have not locked it, it will go to paste this formula to the next column. Obviously it will pick the C column value. So you can see it's totaling the C column. This is also totaling the C column. You can see this highlighted here and netting to 0. So I can copy this directly. I can go select for all the columns here. So now I know this entity has a movements for that period. For this entity there is no movement, right? But again it's a difficulty to find, which again I need to go and select this copy paste separately. These entities are dormant, which there is no movement. What I'll going to do, I'll copy this data, right? I can create a sheet here. Let me create a sheet here. Right click, space, special values, click on it. Since that is a formula, I'll put it as values here and transpose because it is in a horizontal data, so we are putting it in a vertical. So now here easily can find, so these accounts doesn't have any balances. So just select here Go. I'll just change it to formatting to 0. So now you know these values doesn't have or netting to 0. So if you want, you can add a say checkpoint, okay, and you can put a if function. If this is equal to, or if and, okay, and means both the criteria, both the debit and the credit should be 0, right? For that, what we can do, you can use a if function, if and again, and logical text to this. The credit balance should be 0, equal to 0, right? If this is 0 means there is no movement. We need to find this which are the entities there is no movements here, because we have credit and a debit. So I have created here logical text. Again, C column should also be 0, then there is no movement. I close the bracket. Now it asking the true value. This, if and means it will going to check both the criteria should match. This also should be, column B should be 0, and as well as the C should be 0 here. True value. If it is these two criteria meets, then you can say no movements. For any text, use the double quote, no movements, close the double quote, comma. Here, if these two criteria is not meeting, then there is a movement, right? Movement. You can say that we have data. Okay, closing the double quote. For the false criteria, I'm giving it. Hit enter. So just copy the formula down. So let me format it. So let me borders and color it. Let me check. So now you can see, if I select, we have data. You can see all the debit and credit for these entities. We have data. Say if you select no movements, so we don't have movements for these entities. So I can ignore these entities, and rest of the entities I can go and work further. These are the entities I can work. So I can ignore those entities which are dormant or there is no movement for the month. I hope this function was helpful. Do let me know for any other function in future. I'll try to create a video on it. And thank you for your time. Happy learning.